Hi, welcome back to another video. I find myself in York again. I've got a few hours to kill. I'm on my own. It's a bank holiday Monday, so what better way to spend it than wandering around a few more pubs in York. I did a video a couple of weeks ago of my new favourites. Some of those I just sort of stumbled across by accident. This time I've actually done a little bit of research. So I'll go into that maybe a bit later on. I'm at York Station, which means that the obvious contender for the first pint is the York Tap. Superb pint of tapped Bruco Jericho 4% at the York Tap. I'm going to have to pace myself because there are quite a few stops potentially in this trip, but I do like to open with a pint, and that was an absolutely fantastic one. So I'm heading out of the station now. On to the next stop. I didn't realise there was a path out at the back of the station on this side, overlooking the lines to Scarborough, which is where this train is off to, and it looks like we're about to cross the river, so I don't know if that's just something I never knew about, or if there's a whole new path. So, York's best pubs. Really, how do you judge that? I do like York. I've done a previous video about some of my favourite pubs in York. But how do you judge it? I found this map, and there were 300 pubs listed on it. Now, much as I like a pub, I can't go and visit all 300, certainly in one day. So for this particular afternoon out, I went onto the CAMRA website because I do want cask ale rather than keg ale. I don't mind keg beer, but I prefer cask. And so I selected these pubs based on being in CAMRA website, CAMRA Good Beer Guide, serving cask ale. And then I put a little geographic limitation as well, because I'm not walking miles and miles and miles. So that's how we finished up with these pubs. Two big problems with doing pub videos. It's copyright. There was music playing in the York Tap, which would have easily been picked up on the camera's microphone. And people. So whereas you would normally expect a Monday to be quite quiet, it is York, it is school holidays, and it is a bank holiday weekend, so I'll just have to take each one as it comes. I know where I am and where I'm going now. Behind the walls here are the museum gardens, and this is when I was last here in July. I was working there at the museum gardens summer concerts, a couple of nights by the 90s Britpoppers Shed 7. So yeah, that was the last reason why I was in York. But my sense of geography and bearings is not brilliant, so I didn't realise I was so close to the station. So I think I can picture where my next destination is. I think it's just at the top of Marygate here on the left. stop number 2, Minster Inn. Very nice, multi-roomed. Had a lovely little outdoor yard at the back. No problems with other people. There was only one person in the pub and two people at the back while I was there, but sometimes you feel even more conspicuous doing some filming. But yeah, that was a lovely little spot. Right, we're heading to the 3rd stop now, which I do know where it is. I've passed it millions of times, but never ever been in. I've got to say it was a half that I had in the Minster Inn, a half of Il Club Blonde 3.9. Very agreeable, good range of beers on the bar. I think halves might be the way forward for the time being. So I've come up Marygate, down Gillygate, past Bootham, the Minster is in the background, and now I'm just heading down towards Lendal Bridge, so pretty much back towards the stage. Well, that was different. I'm not sure that I would rush back. Quirky little decor. I've always been put off because it's been branded as a black sheep pub. Without being a terrible snob, black sheep just does not do it for me. But a very nice half of Rooster's easygoing assassin, which we have had on at the Big Six in the last week or so. But yeah, interesting, but I'm not sure that the Maltings does it for me. Right, following Google Maps, it's saying to turn off down here. Well, I would never have known this was here. This really is a back street pub just off Micklegate. I'm trying out the Ackhorn, if that's how they pronounce it. Wow, no idea that that was here in all the many times that we've been to York. Well, that was a discovery. A nice half of Northern Lights by Ainstey's, which is a brewery local to the York area, and we started stocking their beers at the Big Six. It's okay, a bit scruffy, just looked a bit tatty, but a proper little backstreet real ale pub. So now I'm going to head back down Micklegate. I'm going to head closer to the city centre, and I'm going to see if one of York's more sort of well-known, famous real ale pubs, see what that's all about. I'm heading to the infamous Blue Bell. funnily enough, Bluebell was packed. I mean, it is tiny. I mean, I think the Big Six is a small pub, but the Bluebell is a fraction of the size. And even the back room, which I've never been in before, isn't big. And that was also full, but I was expectation management. I was expecting it to be busy. A lovely pint of, sorry, a lovely half, still on halves, of their in-house IPA brewed by Brass Castle, who we also stock at the Big Six. So a very nice pint, but standing room only, and there's not even that much of that. It's time to move on. I'm heading down Warmgate now to the final 2 stops, which I think, according to Google Maps, are quite close to each other. Brew York maybe later. I might head back up this road once I've ticked off these final 2 stops. With the Blue Ball in particular, I don't feel too aggrieved that it was busy, but I just hope it was busy with locals, because it is too small. So if all their trade is just constant pub tourists like me, and like a couple of others that came in afterwards to take their selfies, when there's such a small amount of space, it would be a shame if locals' regular trade wasn't there and it was all taken up by those of us wandering around doing these little tours. But it seemed quite lively, and when I've been in before, it's been very clearly sort of like little locals sat in the corner, and they even do table reservations, which I don't really approve of in pubs. But if it means that the locals that come in and spend money week in, week out, get a spot, then I can be a little bit more tolerant. Right, heading, just like we've got to the city walls. Better check Google Maps. I think it's straight across under the walls and just carrying on just that little bit further. Everything seems so much further apart on Google Maps compared to when you're actually walking it. Yeah, those medieval types knew what they were doing, having a gate and then the second gate before they were allowed into the city. Right, this is all new to me. I have no idea where I am down here. This is first time. Yes, I was right. It was just the other side of the city walls, and one of them is just across the road here. The wagon and horses, and then just to the left there with the hanging baskets is the Ruck and Gaskill, and there's even a third one there, a Rose and Crown, but that looks a bit too rooms and food for me, rather than a proper pub. So I'm going to cross over. I do like any pub that has vintage frosted glass windows. So I'm going to do, as this one is the furthest one out, I'm going to do the wagon and horses first, and then head back towards the city walls and the Ruck and Gaskill. Bateman's pub, that's interesting. Yeah, I do love the sort of the Art Deco-y frosted glass. Nice touch. sorry, wagon and horses have not really done it for me. More the decor than anything, although it was the second pub of the afternoon where there has been a bar billiards table, which is something you don't see very often. Fabulous half of Oak and Citra. So a really good beer, served really nicely, but just in terms of pub ambiance, didn't really do it for me. So the last spot on this particular trip around York pubs is the Rook and Gaskill with over 50 beers and ciders. Oh, I might have at least one of them. So there we have it for this little wander around York. Rook and Gaskill definitely had more going for it than the wagon and horses. All serving great beer, but the pub ambiance was very different. I might not rush back because I do have my favourites from the old, or from the previous video, the Golden Ball and the Swan. But definitely worth exploring. So now that the halves have finished with, that I've managed to get round them, all the pubs without drinking pints, because I would have been leathered by now if I'd drunk pints and everyone. I'm having a walk back down Warmgate. I'm going to call in at Brew York because I do like Brew York. So a quick pit stop at Brew York. I think I'm now going to head to another one of my favourites, close to where I'm staying. I'm going to head to the Swan. So I am going to head to the Swan, and then just down the road is the Slip Inn, which I believe is owned by the same people that own the Swan. Although it might not look it from the roadside, it's a fabulous pub doing great beer. So let's pop in here for one on the way home. So that's the fabulous Swan. Last stop of the evening is just down the road, the Slip Inn. The Slip Inn was the final stop. It's time to head back. It's about 8:30. It's just starting to get dark. Summer is over. So thanks for watching if you've got this far. I'll see you on the next video.